Well, good evening, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome, very warm welcome here to the House of Commons on the cusp of being dissolved next week. In fact, the House of Lords is currently examining the second reading of the bill that we passed in the Commons yesterday for an early general election. And I have to say this was a thrust upon us. December the 12th is not a good day for anybody, especially if you live in the north of England or Scotland. Let me start, first of all, by thanking Uniting for Peace for giving me this opportunity to speak to you all this evening. And it's really good to see so many people here in the Apple Suite of Portcullis House. I'd also like to thank my good friend Vijay Mehta personally for inviting me, not only for inviting me, but also for his commendable contribution to the pursuit of peace, as well as, of course, his recent book, How Not to Go to War, establishing departments for peace and peace centres worldwide. And I have to admit a vested interest here because I hope, perhaps after December the 12th, to be our First Minister for Peace and Disarmament. Now, it's just depends on many factors, and I'm not holding my breath. It was just over 3 years ago when Jeremy Corbyn rang me up to offer me an entirely new role on the opposition front bench, that of Shadow Minister for Peace and Disarmament. And I'm sure that Jeremy had Vijay and his courageous work in promoting peace in foreign policy at the forefront of his mind when he created this new position. And I hope that we as a party will do justice to your work now and, of course, in a future Labour government, which may be soon. So with that in mind, let me take a moment to consider the real meaning of the word peace. So when we think of peace, we often, frequently take it for granted. And very often it's just nothing more than an afterthought. It's rarely considered for what it really is. The most fundamental priority for all human societies to succeed and flourish. It's obvious, but we overlook it. Because without peace, all the other tools of domestic and foreign policy, from social care to trade and diplomacy, are utterly impossible. Without peace, we cannot tackle the major issues that challenge our societies today, as we've been hearing in the introductory remarks, whether they be global inequality or indeed climate change, one of the most urgent challenges to us at the moment. Without that grounding of peace, we cannot ever create a better future for ourselves and indeed for our children. I'm reminded of that passage that was in the Labour Manifesto of 1945, in which it stated, peace must not be regarded as a thing of passive inactivity. It must be a thing of life, of action, and of work. This, of course, was written in the aftermath of the most devastating conflict to have befallen mankind, and the scars of war were clearly still to be found in every part of this great city of London when those words were first written. Peace was something that was lost tragically, only to be brought back through immense pain and suffering. We knew back then the horrific consequences of not investing in peace, and we were dedicated and determined to maintain that peace after it had been won in 1945. Now, it was very close to us here. The first meeting of the United Nations took place in Westminster's Methodist Central Hall. That new global organisation vowed to maintain worldwide peace and security and to develop stronger bonds between all the nations on earth. The United Nations, as far as I'm concerned, is one of the finest achievements that human society has ever created. And I'm very proud that it was the representatives of a Labour government who were there on that day on behalf of the United Kingdom. Over the past 70 years, through the UN, we've ceaselessly worked to create a more peaceful and better society. And in spite of the problems that the UN itself is going through, it still remains our most vital link to that achievement and to that better and more peaceful world. And yet, there is a major incongruity in our actions. Whilst we often talk of peace and peace building, we still continue to invest vast resources in the field of warfare and in the name of security, breeding risk and distrust and ultimately costing lives. The resources that we as a nation and as a global society across the world invest in peace and peace building are tiny when compared to the annual cost of war and the vast sums that go into ever more sophisticated weapons of death and destruction every single year. And as Vijay mentioned, according to the World Economic Forum, the annual cost of war, I have a slightly different figure, was over $13 trillion. $13 trillion last year. Now let's just try and imagine what that amounts to. Just think of that number for a moment. That's $13,000 million. Because it's more than the whole gross domestic product of China. In fact, it's more than 10% of the entire world's GDP. And that doesn't even account for the lives that are lost, the livelihoods ruined, and the physical and mental scarring that sadly so often occurs with violent conflict, especially when it comes to the children affected. This is a frightening and preventable waste of wealth, resources, and manpower. It is quite frankly a shocking testament to the ineffectiveness and bad policy. Peace is a global public good, and yet we squander our opportunities to build and enhance it with grossly dangerous and unnecessarily large spending on the tools of warfare. My friends, it was in 1992, not long after the end of the Cold War, that the United Nations adopted an agenda for peace. In its introduction, it stated, "The sources of conflict and war are pervasive and deep. To reach them will require our utmost effort to enhance respect for human rights and fundamental freedoms, to promote sustainable economic and social development for wider prosperity, to alleviate distress, and to curtail the existence and use of massively destructive weapons." The end of the Cold War seemed to herald a new, more positive outlook for the global community. It saw a burst in activity with these goals in mind, from the Comprehensive Test Ban Treaty in 1996, the formation of the Office of the United Nations High Commissioner for Human Rights in 1993, the Ottawa Treaty banning landmines in 1999. Indeed, I was here in this House of Commons voting on a Friday to ratify that treaty, and I was proud to do so, and so were all my Labour colleagues. It seemed at that time, just 20 years ago, as if we were making great progress on many of the goals of the agenda for peace. And yet today, we seem to be in a completely different world, one that appears to have regressed and lost its way. But I think the fact that there are so many of us in this room shows that we're not prepared to give into that. Who would have thought, at the end of the Cold War, almost 30 years ago, that we would again be feeling the biting chill of tension between the United States and Russia? Wars in Syria and the massacre of the Rohingya in Myanmar have shown the dangers of the shameful disregard for human rights by some authoritarian states in the world today. And the horrific death, destruction, and humanitarian catastrophe in Yemen is all too clear an example of the wanton interference by regional powers in a local conflict, the failure of collective action, and the effects of ignoring strict controls on arms exports. Today, my friends, we live in a world that has never been so globalized and interdependent. We live in a world where the most distant crises can affect us here at home, or themselves expand to much larger regional conflicts. In the past, it was often possible for us in Britain to retreat inwards. As an island nation, we felt safe behind our protective seas, and we could sit back and watch in glorious isolation at foreign wars, believing that they did not damage or affect us. But we can no longer pull up the drawbridge and wait for things to go away, because whether we like it or not, we are now part of a global community of peoples and nations, and with that comes responsibility. Our livelihoods are affected by actions within and beyond our borders, which is why we in the Labour Party believe that tackling inequality, poverty, and promoting sustainable development must be embedded in human rights and the rule of law. We must not only promote these values abroad, but it's also our duty as global citizens to do so. The crises we face as a global community are huge. The challenges we face are global, from climate change to migration to inequality. We must act together, and act with a firm grounding in human rights and democratic freedoms. And it's for this reason, and many others, that the UN and its agenda for peace is more important now than it has ever been. One of the reasons I joined the Labour Party 40 years ago was its strong emphasis on creating a more peaceful, just society for all, not just at home, but abroad too. I also admired its strong sense of international cooperation. Labour's a party with a proud history of achievements, from the NHS to the welfare state. It was a Labour government that signed the Non-Proliferation Treaty and the Ottawa Treaties, and we've never shirked as being at the vanguard of new ideas. Just as in 1945, the people of this world are crying out for change, and we in the Labour Party believe we have an obligation to take up that call. We have shaped, and we've been shaped, by the United Nations. And that's why we believe that the foreign policy of this country should be deeply embedded with the values of peace, human rights, and the rule of law. We're also aware that we cannot do this alone. We have to do it with all people who have progressive values, whatever political party they may support or none. In the spirit of solidarity that drives the Labour Party, we will work tirelessly with our allies through regional and global institutions, such as the United Nations, to create peaceful and diplomatic solutions to the challenges of humanity facing. We've heard the call from the United Nations, as well as from great friends such as Vijay, and we will embed peace and peace building into our foreign policy. Foreign policy. Sustaining peace requires a fully integrated approach, not just the strategic, but also the policy making and operational level. And that's why we created this Shadow Minister for Peace and Disarmament. And when we think about global Britain, it is as an active and positive member of global society, working tirelessly with our allies and with the United Nations to promote peace, human rights, and the rule of law. And I'm sorry to say this because obviously we are about to have another general election, but sadly, I need to concentrate this progressive view with some of our peers in this current Parliament. For 3 years now, this Parliament, as with many in society, have been consumed by an internal drama within the Conservative Party that has sucked the life out of foreign policy. We have seen the Foreign and Commonwealth Office starved of funds and damaged by austerity and bad policy. When the Conservatives think of global Britain, it's often to sell arms to nefarious regimes that kill and maim tens of thousands of innocent people, and to pander to countries with woeful human rights records for the sake of so-called trade deals. At the negotiations I attended for the United Nations Treaty on the Prohibition of Nuclear Weapons, I was shocked and angry that the UK would not even send an observer to those discussions in New York. We weren't asking them to take part or sign it, just to observe what 122 nations, members of the UN, were actually saying. But they didn't even want to do that. I was the only representative of this country there. As the drumbeat of another election begins, we must not only consider the very real needs of people at home, but also of our fellow men, women and children across the world, who daily suffer the indignity of poverty, inequality and human rights abuses. The next Labour government will promote the common UN cause of peace between all people under international law and be more proactive in attaining the goals espoused by the Agenda for Peace. Just as the preamble of the United Nations calls us to do, we must work together to build a better and more peaceful future for all of us. I believe that when we work together, we can achieve great things. We can overcome the threats that affect us as a global community. We can create a better future for ourselves and for our children. And, as a final thought, I'm reminded of what the great philosopher Bertrand Russell once said. The only thing that will redeem mankind is cooperation. My friends, that was never more necessary